and welcome. I'm Aaron Hernandez. With me, as always, we got Anthony and Matt. Guys, thanks for being here.
No problem.
This is another Deckbox Top 10, one I'm really excited for.
Aaron, where's your Deckbox shirt?
Yeah, you're not ready, are you?
You're not.
Where's your Deckbox shirt?
Ready to shoot? I mean,
you're wearing one too, aren't you?
yeah. I thought you said to come ready to shoot. Like, what
You guys did uncards on me last week, and now you're doing this. You're calling me out. You know what? We're going to ignore this rule. We're going to talk about top 10 Planeswalkers who are going to die
In War of the Spark.
in War of the Spark.
Everyone, by the way, dies. They're gone.
So this set is probably shaping up to be the red wedding of Magic sets. And we're going to be talking about the Planeswalkers that we think are dead. We've had some pretty lively discussions about these. The only one that we universally agree on this entire list is number 10, who is, of course, Dack Fayden. For those of you who haven't seen the trailer for War of the Spark, I advise you go out and watch it. It's really cool. And in it, Dack Fayden gets stabbed in the back.
Spoilers.
Stabbed and then, soul ripped out.
Yep.
I'll note, because, we only have that video and we have the stained glass window
Yep.
to know who's in the set and kind of, so you get a relation to who we've seen spoiled at this point. But Dack Fayden is not in the stained glass.
Yeah.
But he's in the trailer and dead.
And very, very
And
dead.
very-
So despite being number 10 on our list...
Wait, he could just be unconscious.
Stabbed.
I mean... yeah, I'm gonna go with Anthony here. He got not just even stabbed, like he got
magical
impaled.
playing with dragons. People
Like-
get stabbed and healed.
Zombie said, "Nom nom spark stab."
So naturally,
I'm just saying there's a chance.
in any fictional universe, as Marvel has proven many, many times, you can kill somebody and then bring them back, and then you can kill them, and then you can bring them back again. That being said, at the end of this set, Dack Fayden is definitely going to be dead. But some of these other ones I think that are a little more iffy, but I think a little more interesting to talk about. So
Absolutely.
Let's move on to number 9.
All right. Number 9. It looks like we've got a Johnny Goldmane.
So this one, there isn't a lot of hints at. In a lot, for some cards, you'll see kind of hints throughout the story historically, or just. But the big argument for a Johnny, I think, is very much in his personality type. His story was really wrapped up in Elspeth's on Theros, and he was very, very much affected by Elspeth's death. And the next time we see him as kind of establishing a connection with other people is the Gatewatch. So then, kind of to watch them get picked off by Bolas, I imagine, would be pretty traumatic, right? Especially having just come from Theros or this window.
And he's in this like Obi-Wan Kenobi mentor role, and that's kind of like where his character has been sort of trope cast into it. And I think also we could kind of consider a Johnny kind of the de facto white-aligned planeswalker that sacrifices themselves to be the martyr of whatever the cause is. Like I think we could easily interchange a Johnny with Gideon. And have that be the character that gets axed for the white slot.
I kind of feel, though, that Ajani's he's one of the original 5, and we're kind of moving towards a newer era of Magic. We've started seeing the esports take a good hold on competitive Magic, and Ajani is kind of reminiscent of an older style of Magic. They were just trying to figure out Planeswalkers and what they were to the story. And Ajani has gone toe-to-toe with Bolas before, and the only way he was able to survive that fight is to summon an avatar of Bolas.
Right.
This was a good plan, to be fair.
It was, but now we've got a God Pharaoh.
Right. Yeah,
Bolas.
I mean, Bolas is clearly and he's kind of had a lot more machinations this time, right? Like they've brought a giant zombie army into a world that they have just burned to the ground.
Yep.
So there's a lot more to this.
Exactly.
This is the plan they've been building to for 10 years. I guess it kind of would make sense to sort of towards the beginning of Bolas' storyline, the conflict with Ajani and on conflicts and all that, or not conflicts, but Alara.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then that'd be a good conclusion to Ajani's story.
Right. Yeah.
So that I think makes a lot of sense. I'd personally be sad about
Oh, yeah.
this.
Absolutely.
No
I
one
do
wants
really
to see
like
the cats die.
Right?
Yeah,
It's not cool.
no.
It's not cool. I think it would be almost as unpopular as killing that cute little dog.
Yeah, that
No,
can't happen.
I think if that dog dies, that's worse than Johnny.
It'd just be,
wait,
just be the
that's-
end of Magic,
yeah,
right?
I've already seen so many people on Twitter just like, if anything happens to that dog,
Oh yeah.
this game's over.
Yeah.
Like,
people will riot.
I recommend you check out the upcoming art on Giant Growth. It's really cute.
Yeah, it is.
Back to the list.
Back to
yeah,
the list.
So let's get to some villains.
Yeah. Who we killing this time, man?
Number 8 is going to be Dovin Bond. First villain on the list to kick the bucket.
Makes sense. He's always been kind of, I don't know.
He's very much a heel
Easy.
character. You know,
Yeah.
He was sort of introduced in Kaladesh as this like authoritarian, but like sort of could have been a good one and just on the wrong side of history. And then you see him double down in the Ravnica story arc, just like totally taking over the Azorius after the Void is created.
Well,
and
and buying into Bolus's scheme is
Yeah,
like not
absolutely.
a very white. I actually thought it was kind of like, I mean, I know he's like running the Azorius Guild, but he just like really lost a lot of his whiteness to me when he just like fully working for Bolus.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a Demir Dovin
If they don't kill him,
if they don't kill him.
which they're going to, because he's number 8.
Have we seen Dovin Walker card yet? I don't think I have.
Well, we haven't seen his card. We've seen his spell. All of them have a spell that pairs
Yeah,
with him, and
Dovin's
his is the
Veto.
uncounterable negate. Which
How?
pairs,
All right. How was that card not called Dovin's Ban?
I guarantee that was the playtest name.
Yeah,
And at some point, creative was just like, no, we just can't.
the
Is that too much of a soft lob?
I think that's too much.
I
guarantee it was the playtest name.
if that
for
is
the
too
card.
much of a soft lob, then what on earth is Sharkdo Crab? like
Simic
Sharkdo
personified.
Crab. Hello.
yeah, exactly. It was like write your own meme.
Like they had to top Shamble Shark from Gate Crash. Like I mean, how do you like?
I mean, it does fit with the Civic flavor, but it was clearly a lob meme. Like,
But I mean, that was it. You got Scuttlegator, you had...
Oh yeah, they played a lot more into that theme with Simic.
Anyway.
Anyway, back to
Dovin's
Dovin.
dead.
But yeah,
Not
I
my
would-
favorite.
Matt doesn't want to talk. Matt doesn't want to talk about Dovin Bond at number 8. Matt wants to talk about Jace Bellerin at number 7. We'll let Matt go.
So let's be fair. In the way that we put together these lists, everyone puts through their top 10 if you haven't heard this yet, and then it's compiled in the end. So Jace is my number 1.
He's got problems.
Yeah.
I don't have problems. I just think it's time for Jace to go. Like, I have nothing against Jace. I know Jace is the enigmatic character, emblematic.
I think those
being
are
the person that
contradictory
he
statements.
What do you mean?
I don't have anything against Jace. I just think he should die.
It's a fictional character. It's not like I have a vendetta against the actual person.
I mean, I'm not saying
So,
it's bad. that you think he
Here's
should
my
die.
prediction, just because I want it out there. This is the way I see the story arc happening. Vraska, in the act of petrifying Jace, as she's doing so, Jace says, "My captain." Vraska's memories get flooded back. Jace is petrified. Vraska goes on and kills Bolus. Story over. Something to that effect. That's what I see happening.
We did just see a God Pharaoh statue spoiled on the War of the Spark. Maybe it actually
That's what
is
Bolus does. That's what
Bolus
does.
Bolus
He shows up and he's
loves
like,
making statues.
I am going to put myself here, 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 and here, and you will play with toys that look like me. Oh, those spears look like me too.
Everything looks like Bolus.
Fair, yeah.
For the record, I just want everybody to take a moment to appreciate Matt's Nicol Bolas accent. I know I'm going to store it deep in my memory
Oh
somewhere.
yes. Anytime I forget it, I'm gonna
So
go to
I
YouTube.
personally-
Every pyramid gets a headache.
I personally do not think that Jace is even in danger of dying. I think that he is just not. He's nowhere near as tied up in this particular storyline as either Liliana or Gideon.
Yeah.
And I think if they're going to kill a primary member of the Gatewatch, it's one of those two. I think you have Gideon wielding the Black Blade right now, which
That's not going to end well.
which right, like clearly has the Black Blade is supposed to be cursed, and amongst like other things. There have been a ton of hints about that. So I think, and then Liliana is going toe to toe with Bolus in the trailer.
Yeah.
And so I think both of those would be way more likely than Jace.
Yeah.
I will grant, I don't think Jace is likely to die, but I think it would be a very, like, George R.R. Martin style, this is a real story.
I do think we will get a major character killed for that reason.
Oh, absolutely.
I think
I
that
think we're going
one
to have
of
multiple character deaths. Like, I think anyone on this list, other than the obvious, probably Jace isn't going to die, but I think everyone on this list has a very good chance of dying.
I think multiple of them will die.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I think we will get a maybe not a Red Wedding level of kill everybody, but like a Harry Potter book 7 level of kill everybody.
Okay.
Just like the Hedwigs of the world are going to get peppering.
It is 13 and up, not whatever George R.R. Martin's writings are rated.
Yeah. All right. So I have an argument against Jace dying, and I actually have an argument against the Gatewatch dying. In Hour of Devastation, they printed a cycle of defeats, one for each of the Gatewatch at the time. Nissa, I think, was the green one.
Yeah.
And it was Bolus beating each of them. We have seen 2 triumphs. One for Liliana, one for Gideon, and they are both very in flavor for killing things within that color pie's ability to do so.
They're both relatively efficient removal spells.
Yeah, at least for those 2. And I think we'll also see something as Triumph along those lines, and I think it'll be the Gatewatch somehow surviving this ordeal.
So that's definitely something we want to look for in the upcoming spoilers. We'll be getting we're shooting this about 2 weeks out from the full spoiler, and we are just as excited as the rest of you to find out if we are remotely correct.
I hope so.
So number 6, I think is I actually think number 6 is one of the more likely to die. Number 6 being Jaya Ballard, and I think that is primarily just because she is older and not as intimately part of the story right now.
Yeah.
The reason they brought her in was as sort of this mentor figure with Chandra, and I really kind of feel like that role's a little played out.
Yeah.
I don't think that there is enough space for you to kind of give her own storyline.
No.
And I think that there's a pretty logical arc there where she dies and Chandra goes bananas. That is an interesting plot point, right? That you can do different things with, right? Either Chandra blows something up or gets them in trouble. You can kind of take it in either direction.
We have seen Chandra's card at this point.
Her Planeswalker card? This is news to me.
I think it is one of the leaked ones, which we're not talking about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Leaked. I heard about somebody talking about it on a podcast, so I haven't necessarily seen it on the.
Okay. Yeah. Then I don't necessarily
Moving
trust
on,
all of those
I
sources.
don't necessarily think. I mean, so I don't want to see Jaya die, but with that sort of idea, I think that comes down to like all of the old school like mentor Planeswalkers is Teferi up on the chopping block.
I think
Karn. Where do all
I
those
think
train?
both Jaya and Teferi are on the chopping block. I think that Karn is a pretty logical transition to a Phyrexian storyline. I think Karn is safe, but I could see either Jaya or Teferi dying.
Yeah, I mean Teferi can easily be a Phyrexia link because he was major part of that war. Jaya, I guess, was too.
I mean, he was a big part of that, but not in the same way that Karn was.
Right,
like in the
fair.
establishment of New
Well,
Phyrexia. Like if you are going to
of-
go back and interact with New Phyrexia, Karn has to be there.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe Teferi kind of pulled the isolationism sort of approach to that war. And
Quite literally.
Exactly. Taking
Put my
Zalfir.
hometown to a bubble.
Yeah, so he's not necessarily... I think he's still safe, but I don't think we're going to see Teferi around for a little while. He's had too much of an impact on the game.
Well, and the new Teferi card is very good as
It
well.
is absolutely...
There's going to be a lot of
that
Teferis
is-
in our future.
Yeah, and I think with that big of an impact and paying that much of an homage to a really powerful Planeswalker, I find it really hard to believe, especially as much as we're seeing his meddling in War of the Spark, that he isn't going to be some part of the story moving forward.
Well, and he's been very popular.
And, I mean, Jaya Ballard, that's an easy passing of the torch,
To Chandra.
so to speak,
Yeah.
to Chandra, or
Yeah, I
the
just-
passing of the
Oh
goggles.
my
I don't. I love how
I
it
can't
took
believe
you guys
it.
a
I can't
second.
believe it took me that
One
long.
thing I don't like though is the idea of just like killing off Jaya because she's old.
Yeah, no, it's not just because
I
she's
think
old.
that's the
but-
primary reason the Planeswalkers should be killed. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Speaking of people who are old.
Old.
At number 5, we have Soren Markov, the vampire planeswalker,
Yep.
no longer trapped in stone.
No, he is not.
So this is pretty much a prediction that he's going to lose his fight with Nahiri, right?
Yeah. I had them both taking each other out. But
And I think there's some merit to that because, like, the arc of these cards that they spoiled was like, here's Soren's card, here's Nahiri's card, and then it's like Soren's Thirst and Nahiri's flavor text on it. It's just like, oh, I see you're out of the rock.
Yep. I love this storyline of their battles, and I would be sad to see either one of them die and see them chop this storyline short. But they are incredibly powerful planeswalkers going at it pretty full force.
Yeah.
And there is some chance that you overplay it, right?
Yeah.
So I could definitely see it drawing to a conclusion.
Yeah.
I think Soren has a lot more cards and is a lot more played out, which is why I think Soren would be more likely to die than Nahiri.
I also think it would really be really cool to see a vampire Nahiri. Like somehow in their
his
battle.
dying action is curse Nahiri.
Fighter, like somehow
We see a Mardu Nahiri.
I don't know how Innistrad vampires pass
Nahiri turns
vampires
him into
along.
stone as he turns her into a vampire, and then we have a heteromancer sword and a vampire Nahiri. I like it.
But,
So now we're getting to the big ones now.
Yeah.
We're getting to the big
Number
ones
4.
now. Number 4, Liliana herself.
Yeah.
It's confirmed, right?
No.
She's disintegrating.
She is
like her arm is burning off. Her face starts burning off.
well, and she might die. She definitely could die. Going back to that trailer that we're talking about, she is clearly taking the brunt of Bolas's power on herself. She is sort of swinging this entire fight by herself.
And Bolas basically saying, "I'm voiding all 4 of those contracts at once."
Well, and then you very clearly also have kind of the conclusion of her arc, right?
Yeah.
You had her kind of establish these human connections and friendships in a way that she never had, in the Gatewatch.
Yep.
You kind of had, and then you kind of saw her get kind of pulled all back in, and now we're seeing kind of the conclusion that all comes to.
Mm-hmm.
This is another one. Like we were talking about earlier with the Gatewatch dying.
Yeah.
There is a lot of IP here. Like they're I know multiple people who've named their children Liliana.
Yeah.
She is an incredibly popular character. She's incredibly powerful. The kind of necromancer space is a place that there's always going to be a card.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
So I think there's definitely a chance that she survives, and I personally want her to.
Yeah.
But you don't, go toe to toe with Bolas when he already has a massive magical contract over you.
Yeah.
And not suffer consequences, right?
Yeah.
So this is something I was talking about with Brent earlier today. Actually, if nothing happens to her and they just kill Bolas, that will also be dissatisfying to me. Something has to come out of this change. I personally want her to become a white planeswalker.
Yeah. Wasn't she? No, she was still a black planeswalker, but
But it was
she's
heretical healer. Like, she was a healer in Dominaria before her spark ignited.
Yeah.
The Raven Man giving her the whatever spell or potion or tincture to cure her brother that turns him into some raving lunatic zombie and kills the family and all that fun stuff.
So her roots are in healing magic.
Yeah.
She just got really good at it.
Well, and I
could do it
think
post-death.
that.
She's a healer. She's just a little slow to
she would have to be
uptake.
black-white, right?
you
you couldn't just totally remove the black part of her identity, or it would just
But well, let's just dig into this a little more because if you haven't watched the trailer yet, go watch it. The last time I checked, it was at something like 7 million views on YouTube.
Which is really exciting for Magic.
Beautifully done cinematically. It's gripping. I get choked up every single time I see the rubble. And I just, it hits me every single time.
Yeah.
And I love the whole thing. Like, it just brings up so much emotion. And you see the change in Liliana's face. She's just
there's
you.
They did a really good job. It's probably the best production value for any spoiler teaser thing that I've seen.
Not probably, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not just animated card art.
No. And it's not, Bob from accounting fighting an org.
That was hilarious.
So, it was great, and I loved it, and it was perfect for Magic at that time.
It was, because it was the 90s.
Yeah.
Never go back.
So I think we've covered Liliana pretty.
Yeah, I think we got to cover. We're on the so number 3 kind of stands alone, and then the other 2 we're going to tackle kind of as one beast. Mm-hmm. At number 3, we have Tezzeret.
Agent of Bolas.
Now, Anthony, you had an interesting theory on this one.
So
you want to
the reason Tezzeret is, I put Tezzeret as my number 1, as a planeswalker that dies in War of the Spark, but there's a plot twist. He's already dead. Mm. He is already a zombie that is a part of the Dread Horde. And he had Liliana reanimate him as such. If you look, like, in the Buy Box promo that we've seen, the eyes of Tezzeret are this glowing red.
Interesting. I think it matched the if you look at the metal that he is made out of, it is much bluer than it was like 2 years ago.
Yep.
Right.
Similar to
if you look at a Tezzeret printed before like the Aether Revolt cycle, he is much more metally, and now he is a lot bluer. So. And for those, just to be clear, the zombies that Bolas has brought to Ravnica are blue.
Yep.
Lazotep.
So I think that's neat. I think that's cool. I mostly think that he's just going to do something shifty and get stabbed.
Well, I mean,
like he's one of the most self-serving of the planeswalkers.
100%.
Which makes sense. Like having to work for Bolas, somebody that knows is as much a danger to him as the people that they're working against. He's always kind of like looking at his own interests in the rear view mirror, and I bet Bolas just blows him up.
So if I'm not mistaken, Tezzeret is the master of the bridge. I believe Tezzeret has like somehow become part of the planar bridge. I think it's part of him. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, like one with the machine.
Yeah. Whoa.
Core 19 card.
It is. So in my mind, maybe Tezzeret has some Lazotep upgrades, but he's always kind of looked halfway into death anyways. Mm. You look at his Agent of Bolas card, he looks like a zombie in that card. And he's got like a red shirt on.
He looks like Rob Zombie in that card.
He really does. But what I see happening with Tezzeret is like as soon as, because at this point we've seen Barnes & Noble spoiled the Ral Zarek arc cards, so we know that a lot of the planeswalkers that were aligned to Bolas going through the Ravnica arcs have seen what Bolas is doing, probably realized that Bolas is killing off a bunch of everybody, and it doesn't matter who you've been working for. So Ral turns on Bolas.
Yeah.
I can guarantee Tezzeret's like, looks like Bolas is going to lose. Bye! And just hightails it out.
Unless he is a member of the Dread Horde and then beholden.
He can't because he's a zombie.
Because he's a zombie, which is probably within Bolas's thought process and interest to just go ahead and nix that chance for
a betrayal by Tezzeret.
Exactly, which he's seen happen before and knows is coming.
He certainly doesn't trust Tezzeret.
He definitely doesn't trust Tezzeret. So
Tezzeret
why not
does not have horn scars on his forehead for no reason.
Exactly. So just make him undead and completely subservient.
It's an interesting theory.
Yeah.
I'm skeptical.
Yeah,
I'm skeptical. I'm a little hopeful. I'll be honest. I think that would be cool.
Later,
but let's get into 1 and 2, guys.
Let's talk about number 2 first.
No, we got to talk about them together.
I think they're going to kill each other.
They have.
I don't know if it so much goes that far. So number 2 is Ugin. Number 1 is Bolas. Mm-hmm. We know that Bolas and Ugin are twins. They were sprouted from the same egg spark thing. However, the Ur-Dragon works.
Palladium?
No, Palladium is one of the
others. Yeah,
the Ur-Dragon, it is a card.
Yeah, that one.
That it flies through the plains, sprouting dragons on plains. Ask the Eldrazi.
I'm so sick and tired of all these dragons
on your plains,
stinking plains.
But they're not as bad as snakes.
No, definitely.
They're smarter. You can talk to them.
Yeah,
you can make deals with them.
Sometimes they negotiate demonic contracts for you.
Anyway, sometimes they're giant ethereal planeswalker dragons who have been manipulating things from behind the scenes for thousands of years.
Oh, it's discovered the ghost fire.
You guys see what I'm working with.
Yeah. So Ugin and Bolas killing each other because they're from the same egg, but it's kind of
I think it's deeper than that. I think they're linked. I think the Gatewatch and in general the Planeswalkers are going to figure out, because like we've had all of these stories about Ugin and Bolas going through Dominaria, and we got that huge arc when we were going through the core set, talking about their origins and their separations and this never-ending feud that Bolas and Ugin have had. And right now, what we've seen, it's mostly like the Gatewatch versus Bolas, but really it's Ugin versus Bolas.
Yeah, Ugin's
and the Gatewatch probably doesn't realize that they've been manipulated a bit by Ugin throughout the way.
Oh yeah.
So my thought is they're going to figure out that the only way they can kill Bolas is through Ugin.
I think Jace already knows it. Jace and Ugin have had some
interactions, but nothing they talked about would point there.
Well,
necessarily.
Jace might know
all inside Jace's
Jace
head.
might know it.
Well, so Ugin knows it. But Jace, Ugin's way more powerful.
Jace might know it only because Ugin put the idea in his head somewhere.
It's possible.
Because the only reason why Jace ended up on Ixalan was because when Bolas did the mind attack to him, Ugin had put up a defense to make sure that Bolas did not know that Jace had met with Ugin.
Yeah, which is definitely. I think one of the interesting things that we'll see in the Ravnica book that's coming out is what threads actually carried through and what was real. Because particularly with Bolas, you see them a little more spelled out, right? You see his interactions with Sarkhan or with Tezzeret or with Liliana. But with Ugin, everybody has gotten to this place, right? Everybody has gotten to Ravnica under the Immortal Sun, and I think Ugin, his manipulations are more like Dumbledore-y, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Where he seems like kind of just this general mentor, but has kind of this bigger mission. Yeah. And things that seem like they are advice for getting through X are actually a manipulation to get you to Y. Yeah. So I think some of that will definitely come through. I hope he's not more just evil in some way that I'm not anticipating.
Well, I mean, the way I kind of think of it and see it in my head is the Gatewatch is to the Power Rangers, like Ugin is to Zordon.
That's just because he's like a teal floating magic thing.
Just because he's an ephemeral spirit that doesn't actually do much doesn't mean he's Sword.
See the connection?
I don't know. It's a little
so, do you guys think that this set can end without Bolas dying?
Technically speaking, yes. Bolas doesn't have to be dead to be dealt with.
Technically, they yeet him to the meditation realm and they put the...
Did you just say yeet?
I'm
you can
really
tell you spend a lot of time
up.
around kids.
I do spend a lot of time around the youth these days.
So they yeet.
I'm a teacher, by the way. It's not anything weird.
That's getting cut out.
So they yeet him into the meditation realm with the Immortal Sun, is what you're... So they have
that's kind of clever. Trap him somewhere with the...
So they have to put Ugin in there, too.
Possibly.
Well, so I think that would actually be a relatively satisfactory end, is you throw the two big dragons and the Immortal Sun in a box and you close the box.
Yep.
Hellfall.
Yeah, like a moon or a hellfall.
And that is my argument. Against ending this story that way. Jesus Christ, guys, pick a different plot device. So hopefully that's not the case, and that explanation will have been a waste of time. Anyway, guys, as you can see, there's a lot of cool speculation going around. We're really excited about the different possibilities, and stick with us. We'll be talking kind of once the set comes out. We'll talk a little bit about what was right, what was wrong, and we're going to be talking.
Will be fun.
Yeah, and we're going to be talking, and we are going to be talking in detail about the spoilers coming at you in these next couple of weeks. Yeah. We've never done set reviews of any kind here, so we're really excited to get into that next week. So look out for that.